All right, welcome back to Bending the Narrative. Each week we dive into Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action series. And while you can find our overall thoughts on the season in our first episode, throughout book one, we will be discussing in further detail how each episode compares to the live action counterpart. So this episode gets roped into the finale in the live action series. And while we will save most of our finale thoughts for next week, Alex, let's start with you on what your thoughts are for how Netflix adapted this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this next week too. I said this before we started recording. I feel like I sort of owe the live action series a bit of an apology with the finale because honestly, like this episode and next week, the two-part finale are literally just the finale of the Netflix series. Like they do a
Yeah.
pretty almost one-to-one of putting that, like just making them the one long, like hour-long episode, which like works really well time-wise for 3 20-minute episodes. Like
Yeah.
it's in there pretty well. Yeah, I mean they do, like, honestly they do a pretty decent job. Like it's not
I had like rewatching it, I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad.
like
They did change some weird things. There was
mhm.
there were some interesting things in it. I took a lot of notes of like the different things in it. Like Iroh, like the pirates were never mentioned. Iroh thought that it
Oh, because we
was
never saw them in the first place.
Ozai. It was yeah, because we never saw them in the first place. So he thought that Ozai killed Prince Zuko.
Hmm.
Um, I do like the Northern Water Tribe in the live action. I do
Yeah.
like the design of it. Like in the front, instead of, you know how like the water tribe symbol is on the snow in the animated
Hmm.
version? In the live action, they have it as like a big ice statue.
Yeah,
Above, I think that's really cool. And these cool like turrets that come out.
I mean
That's
like it
also,
just
they have a
looks
name. They
really.
have a name for the Northern Water Tribe. It's like Agnakella. They go,
Which
right?
is
I was like, wait, what? They're like, we need to protect Agnakella. I was like, who?
oh, as like the city. Okay, that's like
The city has the
interesting.
name. Yeah.
That's cool.
I thought that was interesting.
That gives it like a mythic, like I'm now blanking on literally all of the names of all of the cities in Lord of the Rings now, but like it makes it,
Yeah.
like it's
It
that kind
sounds
of where
like
they're like
that. Like,
yeah, like we have to protect. Yeah, I can't think of a single one. All I can think of is
because I
Rivendell,
guess
but
like,
like Rivendell's never under siege. It's like, God, I can't remember the one from the Two Towers that's like the main siege that everyone talks about. Helm's Deep. It seems like that,
mm,
like where it's like the siege of Helm's Deep or something. Like they're like we have to
yeah.
protect
Because I
Agnikella.
guess they wouldn't call themselves the Northern Water Tribe, but like
Yeah,
that they would. Anyways, I thought that was a cool addition.
addition. Yeah.
Um, a weird addition was Aang. He gets a vision of the upcoming battle, which Aang has never gotten a vision before, and it's from the Avatar. I thought that was random.
Yeah, that
Very
is kind of weird.
interesting.
Like we don't we don't need that as an audience. Like if we can already see that Zhao is like preparing forces to go do it. Like it's obviously
Yeah.
this is where the conflict is going to come to a head. Um
Yeah,
yeah,
we
but I
already
mean
know that.
they do a good job. Like pretty much all the stuff that's there in this episode is there in the finale.
It's
Like
kind of there. They just like change and add some random things here and there.
yeah.
Or like they already know that the battle is coming, so they already are preparing. Like I
Hmm.
like this addition where they have the waterbenders out in the ocean preparing these like spiky icebergs, I
Yeah,
guess as like
to try to
protection
like
that the boats have to go through,
hmm
which is I think a great addition.
it's like the
Um,
all those like the like X things that you see like on beaches and stuff, like in war.
yes,
So like
yes. I
I'm
don't know
sure
what
those
they're
have an
called, but
actual
they
the defenses and stuff. Yeah,
the
it's like
defenses,
that's
yeah.
it's that, but for water and ice, which is cool.
Which is a great
Um,
addition. I like that. I like
we got
UA makes
Paku
ice
being a
cream.
oh, yeah, that's great. I mean, Yua is
I
great in the live action. I
yeah.
love Amber Myth Thunder a lot, so like that doesn't hurt.
You gotta put that out there.
You know, she's great. Watch Prey if you
She is
haven't.
great.
Shout out
She is great.
for that movie. But um, so yeah, like I mean, it's all there. Like Paku's being a dick. Like you get that still. Like
Paco is he's honestly less of a dick. He's more of a but I still think it works. He's a
yeah,
little bit more like, no, like this is our culture, like this is the way we do it. And if you have a problem with it, like you don't have to be here.
yeah, yeah. Because I
And
mean, we
and
don't.
she learns it from Yugoda. Oh, we also said last week that Katara in the live action never learns healing. We lied. We completely lied. She does in
Well,
this, but
we said that she did in the finale, which is this is the finale for the live action.
oh, we did. Oh, we did. We,
Yeah.
oh, well,
We were like she just didn't learn it beforehand, which is
yeah.
I mean, I
And she
guess they
doesn't
were like
actually heal anybody. She
okay.
just kind of practices on the body, on the
Mhm.
fake bodies with
The dummy
Yagoda,
that they have.
the
Yeah.
dummy. Um,
Which that thing
and
looked
then
so funny in the episode, by the way, in the animated episode. It stands out so much. It's just like a brown little like dummy thing. Like it's
and
just
it's
like okay.
wooden. So where did
Yeah,
they
I'm like,
get?
what are you okay, sure.
But I guess it would be like I do like that the Spirit Oasis. They made the Spirit, which that's the next episode. We don't see the Spirit Oasis yet, but
Yeah.
they do make it like a forest instead of
Yeah.
just the small.
I do think it is cooler in the live action. I will give them that. But that's next week.
Give them that. We'll give them that. That's next week.
They
What are
get
some other things? Oh, like the UA is the fox spirit
oh yeah, that's
in the
weird
live action, and then she
for
can
some
like go to the
reason.
spirit world in her dreams.
Hmm.
I don't get that. Only Aang is the crossover
I
between
mean
the
like
spirits, but I guess because
I
she's
understand where they draw.
in
Yeah, like I get why they would make that connection because of her connection to the moon spirit and like her being able to do that, but it's just a weird it's because they were trying to tie it back to Sokka seeing the fox in the spirit world during Spirited Away. And so like
the automatic.
and so
So mad
that's
at the
why they were
name.
like trying to like make that connection. So like I get why they did that, but it's like you didn't need we don't need that. It's fine.
Why?
Like yeah,
We
like
didn't need that. Like
it's
there's
okay.
random things like UA breaking off the marriage with Han
Which
herself.
we don't even see
She
him
actually,
until the actual finale in the animated series.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
which he's
And
such a
Han like isn't a
tool.
dick.
He's
I
such a
know.
tool though.
I
Uh,
love how much of a tool he is, but he's not like he's like a nice guy. You like him in the live action.
yeah. We still get the Paku and Katara 1v1. It's fine in the live action.
It's fine.
It just
It's
doesn't
like slow.
yeah, it's also way, and this is because they're shooting it on the volume. It's so
Mhm.
small, like you feel like you're
Yeah.
in, like they're restricted in their space because they were
Hmm.
restricted in their space. But like,
Hmm. We couldn't move
but
that far.
it doesn't have the same sense of like movement and this is a problem with the bending just on the whole in the live action series is that because they're real people that they're trying to move around unless they like
Hmm.
do a wide zoom out and turn them into CGI doubles like they're very restricted in the way they're able to move them around and you don't have that in animation. You can put them wherever you want and have them
Yeah.
travel as far as you want them to go and so it just
It like
it
doesn't
lets
have the force and the
because it yeah
speed
because
and power. I guess
they don't have the space to like travel 30 yards in like 2 seconds by like on like a
yeah.
water like an ice slide because they have 10 feet instead of
Which I
like
feel like
50.
you can edit that because honestly, I rewatched the episodes in 1.5 times speed. It was so much better. Like it sped things up, and I was like, this actually looks fine that way. Like, why did they could have just sped it up a little bit and would have worked better. Like I
Yeah.
realized like a big problem that I had with it was pacing. They made it
Mhm.
just it was too slow and it dragged on. And if they just honestly like kept it up, like the energy was then there when I sped it up. I was like, oh, now I feel like I'm actually in danger and there's something going on.
That's so
But
funny.
the actual
The
pace
create
of it, I was like, oh my God, it's so slow.
yeah, the speeding it up created a real sense of urgency and like
Yeah, like there
mm,
was no urgency, I guess. And there is in the animated show. Like that's a huge thing. I'm like watching it, I'm like, oh, like we're moving so fast and things are happening and oh my God, what's gonna happen next? And you could feel like everybody's like, oh my God, they're coming, we have to fight them. And at the normal speed, watching it in the normal speed, the Netflix live action series, you're like, can we stop talking? Can we move on?
yeah, probably I didn't disclosure, I didn't rewatch the finale before this for the live action one. So like
Alex.
I know. Listen, I rewatched the animated one. That's what we're here to talk about. But
That's what
like
we're here to talk about.
I
Yeah.
feel like it also doesn't cut back and forth as much in the live. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I
No,
feel
not
like
at
it
all. Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, like it's more, and so like that definitely helps with the pacing in the animated one. I think
Hmm.
that like constant going between the different locations and the different characters.
Yeah,
Um,
that does help the pace a lot. There's also a plot point in the live action that really peeved me off. And it was that Aang agrees that Katara shouldn't fight. And Aang like kind of has this whole thing that comes way later on in the animated series where he's like like because he's talking to first of all, he's talking to Karuk and instead of Roku. at all, like as the past Avatar, to help him with it does make sense. It does make sense, but Karuk is like, you have to let go of all of your attachments. Like you can't have any, or like, because Karuk talks about his love being taken away, and that ruined a lot for him. That distracted him, and then so he's like, Katara, don't fight. Nobody fight. Sokka, you guys all stay because I can't lose you. And he's like, Katara, you shouldn't work with Paku. And I'm like, what the fuck? No, Aang wouldn't be like. Aang's like, she's a bad bitch. She can handle herself.
Yeah.
But I do. But then, because then later he says, Zuko, he's like, take it easy. You know, I don't want anyone getting hurt. And Zuko's like, don't worry. And he's like, I wasn't talking to you. I was like, I thought you didn't
want her to fight.
Yeah, they want her to fight. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I don't like that he talks to Karuk either, as opposed to Roku, which we'll get into that because that's a scene for the actual finale next week. But yeah, it's like it's because they, God, it's just the problem of them like taking and like moving things around and like it just like messes with everything. You can't do that. There's a reason it was in the order that it was.
There's a reason that it happened this way.
Because it's cool in the animated series where when we do get to the face stealer in the finale and they're mentioning a past life of Aang and it's not Roku and you're like, oh, who is he talking about? That's interesting. Whereas in the live action one, you're just like, oh, it was Karuk. That one.
Like we are told everything. Like there's another moment in this episode where it's after like Zuko gets exploded in the ship and then we see the reveal that he's actually alive.
Does it happen like immediately after?
Immediately after, because we can't wait. We can't wait for a reveal or anything. They have Zuko tell, like, because when you see Zuko, you're like, oh, okay, he lived through that. You assume like he was in the water and he swam away. He has to say a line where like Iroh says something and then Zuko says, yeah, I figured that out as I was swimming away from the burning wreckage of my boat. Just in case, audience, you didn't understand how I lived just by seeing me alive.
Yeah.
Like after that
just to help out here.
It was that moment I was like, you don't have to put that. You don't have to say that. This could have been so much quicker.
Yeah, they just over exposition everything.
That and then Momo looks like Dobby in Harry Potter, I think. He's really freaky. In the live action series.
I like the way Momo looks in the live action.
Momo scares me. In the way they animated him. It's freaky.
He's cute.
He's
cool.
Oh. In the animated series, he's adorable. He has like a cat-like personality. They give him too much of like human-like qualities.
At least he doesn't die in the animated series for a second.
You know what? Yeah. That I'm going to talk about next week because what the hell?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's the thing.
Hey, Aspect listener. Enjoying the show?
Then be sure to subscribe here on The Aspect so you never miss an episode.
And check out more episodes and clips on our playlist here.
Thanks so much for watching, and...
Lamio Hot Man.